Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to episode number 4 of the podcast, Don't Come For Me. Today's episode is called Communication and why communication is important. I always like to start off with the definition of what I'm going to be speaking about. So let me read you this definition for communication. Communication, the imparting or exchanging of information or news. Number 2, means of sending or receiving information, such as a phone line, computer, text message, or verbal. There are 4 basic communication styles: passive aggressive, and assertive. It's important to understand each communication style and why an individual uses them. I believe that communication is one of the hardest things for people to do. I know sometimes it's hard for me and it's hard for you that's listening. Communication opens you up. It opens you up to feelings. It opens you up to being exposed. It opens you up to other things that have gone on into your life. And then it opens you up to one of the most important things, which is vulnerability. Because you and I both know when you get into a heated argument or you exchange words or something happens, that communication that you gave to somebody to let them know about you and let them into your life and they use that against you, that's one of the most hurtful things that anyone could ever do. However, the flip side to that is when you communicate properly, people that you care about, people that you love, people that you have an interest in, they thoroughly understand what you're saying. There's no doubt or there's no suspicion or there's nothing left in their mind to even second guess what you're saying, and allows them to become closer to you. It allows them to love you, allows them to care for you, and allows them to see you in a different light. But nowadays, in this society, and communicating verbally outside of text messages is crazy. That shit will drive you back crazy because it's hard to understand a person or get to know them if you don't know what they're thinking. We're not psychic. We're not Jedis. So communication means that you have to put yourself in a vulnerable position. You have to put your feelings on the line. You have to put yourself in a position that says, look, I'm going to tell you how I feel. And with me expressing how I feel, I expect you to do the same. And I want you to care about me as much as I care about you. And that's very, very important. Communication can break a marriage. It can save a marriage. It can break a relationship. It can save a relationship. It can help a family. It can break a family. Communication can do all these different things that we don't think that are important, but they really are. When you're in a relationship, when you're married, when you're conducting business and you don't know what that person's thinking, that's one of the worst things that you can go through. When you have a like for someone or an adornment or you care for somebody and they don't express how you feel or they limit on how they express how they feel to you, that's terrible because you'll be up wondering and you're thinking. And then not only that, you bring your emotions into it and you become misguided, all because you didn't communicate properly. Let me give you an example. When you meet somebody and you say, hey, I have an interest in you, but you don't communicate with that interest. That interest may be like, hey, look, I just want to fuck. You got a nice body. Man or woman, I'm just trying to get it cracking with you. And I'm not being explicit or vulgar. I'm just giving you a little bit of flair for the podcast so it keeps you interested. You want to continue to listen. Or you can say, hey, I just want to take you out. I want to get to know you. Or you can say, you know what? I think that you have a lot of money and I want some of that money. But people always find a way to go around what they want. And they show that person a representative opposed to who they really are. And in that process, that's where it becomes an issue. That's where it becomes a lack of proper communication. And that lack of proper communication brings out emotion to where they want to fight you. They want to leave you. They want to cheat on you. They want to do all these different things because you didn't just tell them straight up. But here is one of the biggest things is saying, I have to open myself up to feelings for a person that may or may not feel the same. That's hard. That is really hard to become vulnerable in this day and time because people ghost you. People don't say anything to you. People leave you alone. People just stop talking out the blue. And all those things can be a sorrow for you. It can make you sad. It'll make you want to hurt somebody. It'll throw you off your game. If you're a sports player, it'll make you not do your work. It puts you in a very bad mental state. But when you have the proper communication, even if it hurts you, right? Even if I say, hey, we're dating and I just don't feel like this is going anywhere. And let me tell you this, I've had that done and I've done that. And it doesn't feel good, but I can respect it because at the end of the day, now I know what that person feels. I understand what I may have done or not done wrong, but I know that this is not the one for me, and I can move on with my life. It's going to hurt for a minute for anybody because you like somebody, but then you move on, you get over it, and you become a better person because of it. Don't ever let what someone else has hurt you or done to you go into the next situation and you don't communicate that. And there is another problem that we face when we don't communicate and, I just want to do these certain things to you and I'm just giving you surface talk and I'm not going in depth. That becomes a problem because you don't know what that person has been through growing up. You don't know what that person's gone through prior to you. You don't know what that person's gone through with their ex. I'm talking about men or women. You just don't know what the outcome is that. But when you take that time and you get to know somebody and you all are having that in-depth conversation, you say, this is the reason why you act like that. Okay, this is the reason why you react like that. This is the reason why you won't allow this or you won't allow that or you have these boundaries set because you understand that person's mindset and what they've gone through because you've taken the time to talk and communicate to them properly. And that makes all the difference in the world. If there's a husband and wife and the wife is walking around and she doesn't say anything that the husband's not taking the trash out or he's not paying the bills or he's just not doing what he wants, what he's supposed to be doing, or the wife isn't doing what she's supposed to be doing. I'm not cleaning, or I'm not. She's not cleaning, or she's not giving intimacy, or she's not being friendly, and you don't say that, that builds tension in you with that other person. And that tension builds and builds and builds and builds until the slightest, smallest thing happens, and then all hell breaks loose. That person just goes off because they never told you. Some people feel like they can't talk to another person about something because they're not going to receive it properly. But if you take your time and say, look, I want to talk to you about this, and this is the reason why. And the other part is that when that person talks to you, you should listen to them. Not that it's not important, because anything that anybody expresses to you is important because they're giving you their perspective. You can't just play that. I mean, you can, but you shouldn't just play that to the left because that's that person's perspective that they want you to understand. And the fact that they're taking the time to get you to understand it lets you know that they care about you. Now, if you don't give a damn about them, then yeah, that's one thing. That makes a difference. But if you actually do care, then you'll reciprocate that and say, you know what? I take that in and let me tell you why I act like this. And let's figure this out together. When you can take those steps and you can show admiration in addition to communication, that person will always care for you. Even if it doesn't work out in any situation, family, friends, like I mentioned before, relationships, work, that person can take what they learn and carry that on to the next situation and the next interaction and the next relationship and the next business. It allows them in order to become better with that next person. And it's a teachable moment. When you can teach on how to do better and how to communicate better and how to uplift a person by becoming a better orator as far as communicating with that person, that makes all the difference in the world because people just want to know. Shit, tell me. Don't leave me in limbo. Don't just ghost me. And some people ghost you because they don't know how to communicate or they just say, fuck it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it because communication is hard. Like I mentioned in the beginning, communication makes you vulnerable. And for men and women to be in that spot in this society, that's something that you don't want to do. I wanted to bring you this in hopes that you can dig a little bit deeper. You can see a little bit more. You can go a little bit further. And it helps you to say, you know what? It doesn't hurt me to communicate. It may hurt that person if I say the wrong thing. It may hurt me if I hear the wrong thing. But at the end of the day, as adults, we have to be able to take on that responsibility to say, this is part of life. Things in life are going to always happen to us. Things in life are going to always make us feel a certain type of way. Things in life are not going to always go the way we want it to go. So why hold out on that person and hide from them or act as if something doesn't exist or bullshit them or play them when you can just tell them the truth? You know what I mean? People stay in long-term relationships because they don't tell the truth to their partner or to the other person, or how many people fall out because they don't just tell the truth to that person? It's ridiculous, and it shouldn't go on. Now, if you're young and you're not mature yet and you're just learning, that's one thing. You have to get to that process. However, if you're an adult and you've been around and you know the ins and outs, you should not be a representative, meaning that you should not be acting as if you're someone else when you know who you really are. Yes, sometimes people cannot take that, but it's better for them not to take it and to cry in the beginning than try to kill you at the end, or bust your windows out, or try to stab you, or try to do something harmful to you because you didn't tell them the truth. And that all comes with communication. With that being said, I know this is a little bit shorter than usual, but I hope that what I'm saying touches your soul, your mind, and body, and that you give it a try. And you're going to fail at it. We all fail at certain things, but the more that you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, the better you become as a person. Now, if that person doesn't reciprocate it, or they don't understand it, or they don't feel it, that's on them. You gave it your all, you tried, and you did the right thing. And as long as you do the right thing, that's where your blessings come from. That's where your success comes from. That's where your upliftment comes from. And that's how you maintain yourself as the best person in order to receive the best things that the universe and God has to offer you, because you did the right thing. Communicate with your partner, communicate with your family, communicate no matter how hard it is. Talk to that person. Vulnerability is success, because it gives you a chance to absorb, give out, and become better. Thank you for listening to this episode. Go out and communicate, go out and be a better person, go out and lead by example, and tune in next week. Thank you.